videos I referred to back from how to play. Today we're looking at how to play this game, Battle Line by the good Dr. Ryder Knitcha. Yes, another game of his. I've got so many. This one's produced by GMT Games. It is an older version from 2017. Not that old. It's based on another game that he originally produced called Sotten Totten. So I'm probably butchering the name. That was released in Germany. Same idea. And it's been released more recently, I believe, his Battle Line Medieval. That's the version you'll more likely find, which I think has slightly different artwork. In this game, you got two decks of cards. You got the troops, and as it says on there, and the tactics. The troops are cards numbered 1 through 10 in 6 sets, so 60 cards total. You got different things in it, like elephants and chariots, and some words I'm not familiar with. Skirmishers, which apparently I can't read. There we go. Focus, please. And heavy cavalries and light cavalries and all sorts of different types of soldiers from back in the day. And then you got the tactics cards, which have different types of tactics, including two leaders, Alexander himself and Darius. And I'll explain these cards in a bit once I explain the game a bit more. You also have these wooden tokens, which are called flags. They're just little pawns. And what you're trying to do in this game is play sets of cards. There's 10 different spots that you can play them at. And they need to be a stronger formation than your opponent's set of cards. Sets of 3 is what you're playing, with one exception. That involves one of these tactics cards. And the sets of 3 that you can play, and you're trying to do, in order to win, is capture 3 adjacent flags, like these 3, or these 3, whichever, or just any 5 random ones. And when you do that, you win the game. 3 adjacent flags is called a breakthrough, and any other random 5 flags is called an envelopment. So I can't speak. And it's all based on actual like war tactics, I guess. The different formations that you can play include a wedge. A wedge is 3 consecutive cards. Let's see if I can find some that will work. Let's have been a bit more prepared. So a wedge would be something like this, like an 8, 9, 7. And it doesn't matter the order that they're played out here, but this is the strongest formation you can play. A straight flush, basically. 3 cards. Next formation that you can play next strongest is a phalanx. And a phalanx is a 3 of a kind. For instance, this 9, this 9, and this 9. So this is a phalanx, it's called. And this is the next strongest formation you can play. So if I played this formation here, and my opponent played a 3 of a kind over there, I would win this flag. The next strongest formation is the battalion order. Battalion order is simply 3 random cards of the same color. So, just a flush, basically. The next strongest set you can play is the skirmish line. And a skirmish line is just a random straight, irregardless of color. Like, for instance, this 7, 8, 9. And when you play a straight, it doesn't have to be in any kind of specific order, as long as the numbers are sequential, basically. So I could play a 7, then a 9, then an 8, or what have you. The weakest formation is the host, which is just any random 3 cards. Like, for instance, these 3 cards. That is a host. You're not going to win much with that. The only way you win with a host is if your value of your host is higher than your opponent's host, and you both play hosts, of course. So you're each going to get 7 cards to start off with. This is a 2-player game. And we're gonna have the troop cards on one side, the battle line, the tactics cards so on the other side. And tactic cards do different things. And you got basically 3 different kinds as well. You got morale tactics, which include these. There's Alexander and Darius, which are leaders. I apologize if you hear some lawn mowing going on. And these are wild cards. It can be played as any troop card, any color, any value. So you can play this as part of any set, and you just specify what it is. You can only ever have one leader, so you're either going to have Alexander or Darius. You can't have both. There's a companion cavalry. This is just any 8, any color. And then you got the sealed bearers. This is any card numbered 1, 2, or 3 of any color. Cannot be higher than 3. So basically, they're wild cards. Then you have what it is called the environment tactics. There's 2 of those right here. Fog and mud. Mud changes the claim for the flag, so instead of having to play 3 cards, you now have to play 4 cards on either side, so it's an extended formation. Normally, you're just playing 3 cards. And then there's fog, and the fog disables all formations, meaning you would only look at who has the highest score, not the better formation. And finally, you have these other 4 cards here. These are called guile tactics. And you got Deserter, which basically lets you remove a card from any opponent's side that is next to an unclaimed flag. So if it's part of a set that's already claimed a flag, you can't touch it. But if it's not, you can discard that card. Redeploy lets you take one of your troops or tactics cards that you have next to an unclaimed flag and move it somewhere else. Scout lets you draw 3 cards from the deck, add them to your hand, and you can draw, 2 from the troops and 1 from here, or all 3 from the tactics, or all 3 from the troops, or vice versa. And you add them to your hand, and then you discard 2 cards. That's Scout. And then finally, we got Traitor, which lets you steal one of your opponent's cards and move it next to your side. Of course, it has to be next to an unclaimed flag. So all these tactics cards, though, we'll mix them up. I will say that these cards are a little bit stiff. They're a little bit hard to shuffle. With a smooth finish. They're fine, but a little bit hard to shuffle. So on your turn, what you're going to do simply is play a card next to one of the flags, and then draw a card. And you can draw a tactics card or a troop card, whichever you prefer. So I'll draw that one. That's my turn. Next, my opponent is going to go and they're going to play a card. They don't have to play here. They can play anywhere. Maybe they play here. And then draw another card. And then it's my turn. And I say, okay, well, I'm just going to continue working on this one. So my cards, you don't have to. You can move around, play different cards to not reveal your tactic, if you will. I'll draw from here. My opponent decides, you know what, I'm going to play this 6 over here. Oh, that's lovely. And then it comes back to me, and maybe I say, you know what, I'm going to play this here. Now, I don't get to claim this yet. I can only claim this once I can prove that my opponent is unable to beat me. At this point, he can play a 3-10s or 8, 9, 10 in yellow, and he can beat me, so I can't claim the flag just yet. But if I could prove that he could not beat me, I could claim it. But at the moment, I cannot. I'll draw a card. I just keep going back and forth like this, playing 3 cards, playing cards on either onto different flags, and playing tactics cards, and trying to to get these flags. So my opponent says, okay, I'm going to play this over here, and maybe they draw a tactics card this time. Ooh, I kind of like that one. And then I will play. Maybe I play this 6 here, and I draw another card. And my opponent decides they're going to play this 8 here as a yellow 8 to try and get that plus. Because I could do pretends, but they're going to try that. And then they draw a card, maybe they draw a tactics card. And then it's my turn. Maybe I play a 6 over here again. And then my opponent's going to go away and says, you know what? I'm going to play Alexandria. This might be a little bit overpowered, but why not? And now he's going to claim the fight because there's no way I can beat him with the 3/5s. Although, if I was able to use a special card, I could perhaps do something about that, but it's too late. He's going to claim the flag, and that's 1 down. And then he would draw a card. And you just keep going back and forth again until somebody claims 3 adjacent flags or 5 random flags, and you win the game. It's a pretty cool game. The artwork's fine for what it is. I think the newer ones probably has nicer artwork, perhaps, but I don't recall what it looks like. But this is the one I got. I will say the box is double the size it needs to be. I can fit everything into these 2 slots. Why they have this, I don't know. Make the box fit the size of the game. That's one thing I will say. There's too many games that have boxes that are way too big. Sometimes a little bit too small, but most of the time, way too big. It is what it is. That is the game. I like it. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.